show is about to begin! Please turn off your cell phones! Unless you're texting me, cuties!
Well, hello everyone. How are we all doing today? Today is a very special day. We're playing Tomb Raider 1 Unfinished Business with the people who actually made the game. First of all, can you hear me all right? Just double checking because you know how things are in this situation. Oh, it seems like people can't hear me. So now I'm gonna unmute our beautiful heroes of the night, or the day if you're in America.
Hello.
Yes, this is Phil Campbell. Phil, say hello.
Hello. Coming to you from stormy.
Hear Phil all right? Do let me know if you don't. Thank you for bitties, Jonathan. Phil, what did you do on Unfinished Business?
I created all the levels. In fact, did everything on the first one. And then probably had to argue with Mike Schmitt a lot because he was the producer. He didn't know me at the time, so he probably did a lot of pushback then. But I quite honestly, over my history of 5 years of Tomb Raider, I learned how to manipulate Mike and get him to do my evil will. So yeah, I it's a long story that I can tell you about how it started, but yeah, I basically built all the levels in all 3 of the gold games, including Lost Artifact, except for one level where I helped Chris Renkovitz, who will probably be in your next podcast, build a little bit of Tomb Raider 2 Golden Mask. So there.
Okay. Phil, so basically, Phil is a master genius of everything we're going to play today, except for the textures. Rebecca Shearin, please introduce yourself.
Oh, hello, everyone. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here today. And I could say, too, that it was really wonderful working with Phil Campbell and such a nice, kind producer as Mike Schmitt. Yeah, but Phil was a machine, right, Phil?
Yeah. Back in my young days, back when I was a youngin'.
Right, well, weren't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so glad this isn't a video chat. So,
well, you'd have to be, but unfortunately we couldn't get it to work like that.
Yeah. You'd have to put some pants on, Rebecca, if it was a video chat.
Well, frankly, I'm actually wearing pajama pants myself, so no one can see that. Except for my dog, who is a German Shepherd downstairs on the floor. Mike Schmitt, we were just talking about you. I don't know if you heard any of those things.
Oh yeah, I heard everything. Hi, I'm Mike Schmitt. I'm excited to be here. Glad people are so interested in, all of this old Tomb Raider stuff. What is it, 25 years later or
nearly?
Like
that? It's actually anniversary awesome tomorrow. Tomorrow is 25 years since the first Tomb Raider was released.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, I mean it was fun. I got to work on all the Tomb Raider games with the core guys, and then we were able to do the extra levels, in the U.S. with Phil and Rebecca, and Gary and Chris, I guess, who will join on future streams. But awesome to work with these guys. It's really exciting just to be here to get to chat with them again. I haven't seen Rebecca in years, and I saw Phil maybe a year ago. We Zoomed for his birthday party.
Yeah, I haven't seen you much since you let me play with your band, the Doormats, your very famous band. Check them out on YouTube, the Doormats.
Hey,
they do a version of Dark Side of the Moon on ukuleles called Dark Side of the Uke. I find that very impressive.
Well, Phil often would hop up and sing a song on his birthday gigs, so that was always fun.
Shaking all over.
We're gonna start off with we're actually not gonna play the Unfinished Business in the normal way, because Phil insisted we're gonna play Atlantis first, because that's how it was supposed to be. But how come we are playing Egypt first in the actual game, Phil? How did that happen?
Yeah, I actually don't know how that happened. Probably one of Mike Schmitt's bad decisions or something. But we when it actually started, I started back in '96. Rebecca and I were doing Blackwater, and they gave us these tools. What soon to become the Tomb Raider engine, and they said, "Why don't you try using this, and we'll use it for Blackwater in '96." Tomb Raider hadn't come out yet, and so they gave it to us, and I started building underground waterfalls and dams and all sorts of stuff. And Rebecca and I and Chris and a bunch of others developed a lot of concept, and it was all over the building. Like, we had walls and walls of it. And then one day, Adrian and Jeremy came over, the Smith boys, and enjoyed looking at it. And next thing we knew, the whole project was cancelled. Everybody was fired except me and Rebecca, and they sent me to Derby, to Core. So I think I arrived in Core on February '97, I think. And it was the day that Toby Gard and Paul Douglas announced they were leaving. So it was a very traumatic day. And anyway, they said, design, that's the start of that sketchbook that I sent you, Ash, that's on your website. And so they said, started ideas for developing another product that we're going to send out. And I came up with the notion of unfinished business, of sending her back to Atlantis. And my first day in Derby, the entire Core original team, I think there was 6 of them at the time, or maybe a couple more, they surrounded me and they said, "You're not working here. Go away. We don't accept you. No one else is doing Tomb Raider except us." And I always remember my first day, Adrian Smith, the younger of the 2 Smith brothers, and an incredibly nice guy, had to step in and kind of beat them back. So I started working on it in a room by myself, and nobody would talk to me. And I started, I was learning the level editor, so I started putting out some stuff, and they all hated it. Gavin Rummery especially hated everything I was doing. But it was like one of those movies. I just kept working 24/7. I just sat in the office and kept building it, and they kept testing it. And every day they'd come in and have a wee look, and then maybe I'd see Gavin playing it, and he had a wee smile or something. And I ended up, Neil, Heather, all of them, really having a great relationship with them. And I think they really liked the levels, and they got their seal of approval. But it was hard to get there,
Unfortunately, I'm not sure if you're aware. Unfortunately, we lost Neil last year.
Yeah, I heard that Neil died.
Yeah.
And that's
Unfortunately, rest in peace. So it was very tragic, actually. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but basically, me and Peter Connolly, the composer for Tomb Raider 4, 5, and 6, we worked on a music album to remaster his work effectively. And I was in northeast of England. We just received vinyl, and so I was staying in hotel. I would ship it all, with Peter. And he messaged me at like 9 p.m. saying, "Oh, have you heard Neil died?" And we were just both like an emotional mess, crying our eyes out. But yeah, Neil was like incredibly brilliant guy. I'm so glad I managed to meet him. Well,
honestly, we had to harass them so much every day, trying to figure out how to make the damn thing, that even when I got back to America and kept building, and then dragged Rebecca in for the cat levels, we had Mike every single day talking, mostly to Gavin, because Gavin, I think, ended up sort of taking over the whole thing, right, Mike? From Tomb 2 on, and because obviously we were rookies at the engine, and we'd seen how brilliant it could be. So obviously the bar was really, really high for us.
I remember I didn't really have much contact with the individuals on the team. It was mainly kind of working with Adrian and with Troy Horton, unfortunately, who passed away a few months ago. Really sad, and he was a good friend of mine.
Yeah, Troy was great.
Yeah,
he was great in helping. He was great helping with all of the unfinished business and the extra levels. He was a big help for our team in the U.S.
I know. God, I'll be next. I'm like 61. The team are either dead or have been arrested, right, Mike? So
I don't know about that.
well, we won't go into that. You've
Okay,
been
so
arrested.
we're gonna-
Rebecca.
Sorry, guys, I'm just gonna interrupt you there because I know you will chat a lot, and and that's okay. We're just gonna do it whilst we are actually playing the game as well, so so people see more than just my face in here. So let me just switch to another window. I hope AJ is actually streaming right now, which
Yep, I'm
he
streaming.
is, which is great. Okay, so AJ from Survivor Reborn, everyone, round of applause. He will be playing the game.
Yeah,
I die a lot.
Yes,
You're a
he
brave
always
man.
does. Okay, so there we go.
He's playing
with the fan patches, as I said before. As you can see, the game is very fluidy. It's 60 frame rates. I'm clipping right now. God,
Wow.
It's 60 frame rates per second. You can see how beautiful it is. So there you go. People who actually made it are here in the chat today, so they're very nervous to see what you think about that.
Wow, I haven't seen this in like 20 years.
No.
Right?
I mean, the pressure on me, because I was doing this by myself. That's why the textures are so stretched and horrible. I had to do everything myself.
Come on, they're all beautiful. We love it.
And
we absolutely love it.
But the funny thing is, Ash, that the very, very first few moments of this were critical to me getting it to done. Otherwise, I would have been like fired, and they wouldn't have done it. And I had to pull out all the tricks at the start. The first rolling ball that isn't really a trap was my sort of first signature move, where the rolling ball comes at you, but it will never get you because it drops into a pit just in front of you. But I thought they'd never really done that, so I thought that was kind of fun.
You can tell that this was made by a different team, like Tomb Raider Gold packs. Like, they're very different in terms of level design. There's less of I don't know if AJ will agree with me on this, but there's less of go there to pull a trigger to go to another room, to pull another trigger to go to another room to pick up the key to open the door in the first room. So that there's less of that.
I
There's
agree.
more, yeah, there's more kind of direct, kind of you go from point A to point B. It's kind of easier in that sense, but at the same time, it's not, because you have much more enemies in here in Tomb Raider 1, particularly Gold.
Well, I was an architect, so everything is. I think I was looking through a filter of being more an architect. So I like the idea that you had a sense of foreshadowing, you had a sense of where you needed to go always. So there's a lot of depth in my levels where you move. You can see down through levels. You can see up through levels. These were the Atlantean eyes, and the trick here was that I put a little sound box for the centaur in these rooms, and so you could actually hear the centaur, but it's actually not there. It's actually down right at the bottom, and you can see it run around. So it was just a little sound trigger. I mean, I can't hear it now, but the whole idea was to foreshadow her coming out into this area, which was, man, I worked a lot on this area, because this was the key one. This was the one that won them over, I think. The whole idea of the dice shape and the coming up with a tangible form of Atlantean architecture, that made sense. That's all I remember about that. The alien eyes. Yeah. I wanted to get those flying Atlanteans out very quickly, so the whole idea of being on a tower and fighting them like this was appealed to me. And then, obviously, all the views and things here were pretty dramatic.
So this is actually happening, the Atlantean bit. This is why we still don't know why the level order in the Tomb Raider 1 Gold is the way it is, because obviously these levels, which are last two levels or three levels, happen right after Tomb Raider 1.
Yeah.
Whilst the Egyptian levels are kind of, later on, kind of she returns.
And to be honest with you, Ash, even though I said, I think at the time, that these were more expert, and certainly the second level here is a nightmare. The core guys were swearing at me so much for making them so hard and putting so much stuff in them. But you know what? Really secretly, I designed them all to be played from no inventory right at the start, because other than guns and ammo, there wasn't a lot of pickups, right? So it really was kind of dull when you had everything, like the shotgun and the Uzis and everything, and then you went into a level. Whereas I like to put them all in very creative places. And so I like people going straight in here just with the pistols. I think it's a good challenge.
Yeah, it is. There's very little. Yeah, as you said, it's very challenging. I was actually streaming Unfinished Business. I was practicing. As soon as I messaged you, you said yes. I was like, okay, I need to see what I'm actually streaming, because I have not played this in a while, and I know that fans just released 60 FPS patch. Ozzy Fanto did. I don't know if he's watching, but yeah. So hopefully, he will actually watch a VOD. I don't know what time it is in Australia. He's probably sleeping, but basically, yeah, I practiced it. It was so challenging. I had to use cheats, but I don't know how AJ is coping.
Well,
right
people,
now.
do you remember, Mike? People could cheat from here and finish the level straight away, which was really annoying and bad design.
You could do a crazy
like a level,
jump into one of the
Yeah.
Oh right, yeah.
Because the ending of the level's right there. So I mean, this is the awareness I wanted to give people, that they would get a sense that this is the top of the complex that you're going right down through. And one of my trademarks, I guess, was when enemies come out, they don't just always ambush you, although that's always good in Tomb Raider. But I always give you a chance to find a spot where you can deal with them. There's a couple of things later in this level where you have to make a choice about where you're coming out of the water, which enemy you're going to take on, or the shotgun room where you're going to decide how you're going to deal with all the aliens that you know are going to spawn, or the streaky bacon men, as we used to call them. God, I can't even remember how to play this now. Looks good though, Rebecca. Look at those textures. Pretty awesome, huh?
I'm looking at it and I remember it, but I have no idea how to get through the level anymore.
Well, that's the
Mike,
beauty of the classic Tomb Raider, isn't it?
I used to call up Mike every day and go, "Why aren't you playing levels?" Because he had to play these every single day, endlessly.
Yeah, I was pretty good at it. Way back then.
Phil, those textures look so good. I can't believe I didn't create them.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe I didn't really need you for all those years. I don't know.
Probably not. It was very kind of you to let me work with you.
The only time it really showed me how much brilliance that Rebecca put into it was when I told you, Ash, I think that I was sent home from E3 to fix the Vegas level. Because they didn't want it in black and white.
You keep the stories about Vegas level for now.
Oh,
We'll
okay,
have another stream on that. We're going to go into much more details on the Tomb Raider 2 Gold stream. I'm very interested to talk a lot about that one. I have a lot of questions. Thank you so much, Uncharted Raider, for gifting subs, by the way. Thank you, everyone who is doing bits. And I'm reading your messages. I'm just not reading them out just yet because I want our heroes of today to talk as much as they can. So, but thank you all. I see it all. I don't know if you guys, there's a question from Lion Cyborg, but I don't know if you guys, Phil, Rebecca, and Mike, have you heard of Tomb Raider, the 10th anniversary edition? Oh my God, AJ, you died.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. Okay, so Tomb Raider Anniversary Edition is basically the last Tomb Raider game that Core Design actually used to work on before they were sold to Rebellion. So it's basically a remake of the very first Tomb Raider game, and it was made for PSP and it was like forever lost. We thought anyway. The trailers got leaked and that's how we kind of were aware that it's being created. But what happened was, because I run the fan site, I anonymously received the source code for it and I released it to the fans and it's now playable. It would be interesting to see what you guys think about that. I will send you some details on if you want to experience it. It's still like pretty much in very raw alpha state, but it would be what the question I think from Lion was here, rather were there any
he did that
for...
bit. He did that bit correctly, by the way, Ash, because you have to be full health to make that jump.
That's AJ. Yeah, AJ
And,
knows.
and so many people didn't do that. They got very frustrated because, you know, people who think they're good at playing it, like, think, well, we'll never use, you know, health packs. But there you go. Sorry,
Yeah,
Ash,
there
I
actually
don't know
are some-
anything about the 10th anniversary,
Yeah,
but I wonder whether Mike does.
Yeah, I thought so. I was just double checking. In terms of what you were saying about tricky levels, you know, when you actually use cheats, it still doesn't give you medipacks. It only gives you like ammo. So, like in Tomb Raider 2 and 3, it does, not in Tomb Raider 1. So it's even with cheats, it's still a very unforgiving game. So,
That was a big part. That was a big part, Ash, of the sort of design arsenal that you had, because there's only so many things you can do, right? So, for secrets, for example, I was fed up with the little jumpy secrets where you jump around and find a secret square. Although it took me a while to really get it together and create whole secret levels. But also with weapons and playing with the weapon choice. Was huge, you know, putting the weapons in the right place at the right time, using the right weapons at the right time, and not just being a hero with the pistols the whole time, you know. And so I always tried to evoke that so that when you needed the Uzis, you really needed them, or you needed the shotgun, etc., etc. Yeah. Oh, uh-oh.
Did you? Oh my God, AJ! I can't even look away from the screen, and you just. Oh.
But that's a good example of where you start seeing down through the levels of the sort of alien architecture, and you can actually see right down to the bottom. And I think at some point you can see the centaur, the alien centaur, kind of running around down there, and the whole level you spend thinking, how am I going to get there? How do I get to that? But I have no memory of how you actually accomplish this part.
Me and you both.
Yeah, it looks very familiar, but I have no idea how to get through this anymore.
Well, I do have all the hints guides.
There we go.
All right.
Oh.
And you haven't even got to
look
the
how
alien
beautiful
ballroom
this
yet.
is. This is so very atmospheric. It's just incredible.
I'm gonna get a
Love
look
it.
around here.
Yeah, I don't think I used the camera tricks in this one. I don't think I knew how to do that. I can't remember, but obviously Rebecca and I'll blame Rebecca as well, but we overdid them in 2 and 3. You know, we and also they hadn't given us the music at this point, and I had to use music stingers from the game. But if you'll see in Tomb Raider 2 and Tomb 3 and Lost Artifact, we use music from everything. Probably at all the wrong times, but I was very pleased with that dice because that dice is a very hard shape to make because the editor was orthogonal, and so it was really hard to make things on an angle. So there you go.
Oh, Defragger is making a valid point because Golden Mask and Unfinished Business were all PC exclusive.
Yes,
so you can only get them for PC. Yeah, and Mac. So the fans actually ported them on PlayStation 1. Not anymore. Yeah, fans actually ported them on PlayStation 1 as well.
Oh, that's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Would have made your job a lot easier, Mike.
Well, we always wished we could have had this on PlayStation. Yeah.
I know, and yet.
Oh, hello, dog. You want to be?
They always said it couldn't be done. They always said it couldn't be done, and I think the people that have done the PlayStation versions have put in save points and everything. You know, all the stuff you remember from the PlayStation versions.
Yes, they used to have like crystals to save. Oh my God, dog, go away! My German Shepherd is trying to get into the stream. She loves it. But yeah, fans decided to port it, and there's nothing we can't do really. And to be fair, most like you see now, this is played in 60 frames per second, and also the textures are like much sharper. Everything is much more stable and crisper. Yeah, if you compare it to the original one, it doesn't look like that at all.
Yeah.
It looks like the old 3D effects card when that first happened.
Yeah.
So this is all fans
Gavin and
patching it.
Someone asked in text about me and Gavin. Gavin Gavin, I think, started really enjoying playing my levels. That's the feeling I got. And we didn't become friends, I would say, but he was a genius, and he was an incredible source of information for this. He was the man, because I think he took over after Paul and Toby kind of left. So,
yeah, he was. I think he was slightly promoted. I believe, but later on, after the development of the Angel of Darkness, he actually became the CEO of Core Design because Smith Brothers left.
So.
Yeah,
but I mean, when I was making this, I was doing everything for the first time, and I was basically just shut away in a room by myself, figuring out textures, figuring out audio, figuring out pickups, figuring out how to build the damn thing. But, I still lecture to this day about the editing tools, because in my opinion, they're the greatest tools ever created to build a game. And for me, it meant that I found that you could, as a designer, it was very hard to go wrong, right? Because Lara so perfectly fits with the module of her environment. But what made her so popular, in my opinion, was the fact that it made you feel like a better player as well, because it's so legible. You don't have to paint whitewash on the walls, some modern competitors to know where to jump. I mean, obviously, more modern games are much more legible in terms of, where to go because they're so beautiful. But, that's letting the centaur out. Now you've done it. It's so legible, right? Everything, that Lara can make a jump. You don't spend hours trying to make a jump that you never are able to make, like I have done in Uncharted so many times. Although I love Uncharted.
Me too. One thing I wanted to tell you whilst you were talking about the level editor and stuff, the fans actually made Monty, I don't know if you're watching this, you probably are, Monty created, like a couple of fans created and like a fantastic package called Tomb Editor, which basically makes it looks similar to what modern day Adobe Photoshop looks like, but in like 3D kind of way. In case you want to showcase it to your students, I can send you a link on LinkedIn and you can have a look.
Yeah.
Also, we're actually having some questions from level editors here, whether you actually seen any of the levels that the community has created.
No, but I talked to, I think it was somebody called George McIver, might have been, and he sent me tons and tons of great images. And I was on their forums for a while, and I knew that they were trying to make, using our editor project, they were trying to make Gold 4. They were trying to make that whole adventure.
Yes.
But I've never actually played any of them, but I've certainly had a good look through them from time to time. But that would have been fun, because we didn't get that far in Gold, but I sent you everything I have, Ash. That's pretty much.
This is so invaluable for us, because we have level editors who I'm sure, I know Kaizem is watching, who is one of the level editors. I'm sure he will tell you that probably people already working on something right now. Also,
to be honest,
welcome to Rap Wins, who is no longer #1 gift sub on my channel, just so you know, Rap. Yes, sorry, Phil, I interrupted you.
No, to be honest with you, I still have somewhere in some hard drive somewhere, I still have all 3 games complete. All the files, obviously all Rebecca's textures, and I don't even know if they'll run in DOS anymore, but if there was a way of clarifying the legal situation, I would be really happy for people to have all of those, because then you could play the true Nightmare in Vegas in black and white with the proper Elvis.
I will clarify it with you after the stream, but there should be no problem with using that at all. So don't worry about that. Rebecca, any textures here on this level you're particularly proud of, or alternatively not very proud of?
Well, since I didn't make the textures for this level,
right, okay.
No, these are all core. These are all core textures that I manipulated.
Right.
So I hadn't come back with my little Tomb Raider package to America at this point. I was still struggling away in Derby, and then it just we hadn't actually found out that we could edit any of the assets at this point. So I just tried to do different things in different ways and use the textures differently. That's why there's so many of them are unbelievably stretched. Although this looks really good here. These are like the alien pens or something. I remember having an image in my head for every single area, that it meant something in the true architecture of the place. And that was kind of that eye shape is distinctively Atlantean, in terms of the world I was building here.
Yeah, it certainly is. You can tell, like, there's like, this is what confused me, because the levels in this game are in the wrong order. Obviously, you start with Egypt and then you kind of go to Atlantis, even though it's supposed to be another way around. But even though I finished Tomb Raider 1 first before I played Tomb Raider Unfinished Business, I basically thought, I was like, this should be, this Atlantis should happen after Tomb Raider 1, because I feel the sense of urgency, even though, you don't feel explosions, you don't feel like any of that falling debris or whatever like you do in the last levels of Tomb Raider 1, but the sense of urgency is there for some reason. You kind of feel a bit anxious and claustrophobic, so it does work really well environment-wise.
I mean, this was a test bed in a way as well. I just that's why it's I put so much time into that architectural feeling, and I did all those sketches of the opening area, and then as I was just building, I wasn't doing sketches of any of this stuff, and I was just piling it on. It was like a test bed, but also, how many rolling balls could one person put in a single room? How much lava could you create in there's a big jumping lava fall area, and then trying to figure out how I could enhance the gameplay, like with the shotgun room, which is still one of my favorite Tomb Raider rooms. I think Mike screamed when he was testing that. Do you remember that one, Mike? The shotgun room where you stand on the pedestal and you unlock all the different statues around you.
It's coming back to me. I need to see it. I mean, all of this is like, it's very strange to see it again. It's been so long that for having how much we played this, and then you kind of forget about it, and then here it is again. It's pretty cool. It's great memories. I mean, it was, just the whole gaming industry was so different back then.
Well, this is the classic way of designing Tomb Raider without.
I just interrupt you there for a second.
Yeah.
Mike, I don't know if you know a guy called Jay Walker. He says hello. He hasn't seen you in many years. He's watching us today.
Jay is awesome. Jay is still at IDOS, or Square Enix, IDOS, whatever they are now.
I actually seen him yesterday with his wife and child. Jay's actually my father on Facebook. It's
awesome.
A long story.
Well, Jay was at IDOS, the whole time I was there, I think, and he's still there. We would talk a lot because, whenever I had questions about how to burn the DVDs or the discs, I would ask, Jay for help.
Wow.
That texture, that coal kind of fiery lava, that is my favorite. Like, because you can tell, like, it's a flickery texture that makes it pretends that it's flowing. It's actually like flickering frames like in GIF, but it's just so pretty. I just love it.
The thing is that most of the screenshots you see and all the bits I sketched at the start, that's what you mostly see from this. But like, all of this lava stuff and putting in sort of fake lava waterfalls and things, I really enjoy doing this. But those are some mighty stretched textures. Look at those.
They still work. They work.
Rebecca and I, you remember they used to chastise us so much about our stretched textures.
And then you go back and look at some of their and it's like,
what's going on? Oh, I remember all this now. I remember playing it. I'm glad I'm not playing it now, though, because I would be crap.
Coming back to these controls and modern day without like a training can be quite tiring. I mean, even for me, I die a lot. I know there are some people who actually play these games. They do no loads, no meds, pistols only runs, and when you need to find all secrets. So like, and obviously they die many times. Like for example, Rob wins here, could not finish a single game, but he's still trying. I'm joking. He finished at least one of them.
He's getting confident now. He hasn't saved for a while. I'm always expecting the worst. I thought you guys would have all sorts of save files ready, you know, just in case. This is very dangerous, this podcast, this stream.
That's us, Ash.
That is us, indeed. Steven, sorry, I seen your question about leopard dress. We're going to ask it on the Tomb Raider 2 Gold stream, all in due time. There's going to be Tomb Raider 2 Gold stream and Tomb Raider 3 The Lost Artifact stream. We're not done. It's not just the only one. I'm streaming all three. Not today, obviously, but like, you know, in a week or two time, whenever guys are available.
Unless Rebecca swears too much and she gets like banned from Discord or something, right?
Oh. Nah,
I've not been good so far.
Or arrested.
It's somebody me who is being banned for swearing, to be fair. But I always say I'm foreign, that's why.
Ash, just one final very quick Lost Artifact question. Did anybody ever find the secret Mike Schmitt pit?
Mike
picture.
Schmitt. Is that the one where he is like behind the
Okay, everybody
is
sees
that the one?
Yeah.
There's a texture where the man behind. Yeah, found it.
We always try to get Mike into our levels. We named an area. I named an area in Shadow of the Cat after him. I do remember that. Smitty's Leap. Do you remember that?
I remember that. Is that when the budgie would come out and get you?
No, I think it was when you first saw the cat statue on the up the mountain kind of thing. I vaguely remember. Look at that. That looks
That's
good.
really pretty.
That does look amazing. And just saying to think that this is like quarter a century old, effectively. It's, I mean, you look at the games, say like Minecraft, for example, who have more inferior graphics to this, and they're like ridiculously popular. I think I lost the trail of thought where I was going to say to go there, but you know what I mean. It's like it looks spectacular. I think it looks artistically beautiful the way like the textures work in this game. They're like grossly disgusting because they're kind of alien and Atlantis, but also at the same time they look more kind of cyberpunky in a way and ancient in a way. Like it's such a weird mix. I love it.
Yeah. Well, that's all down to core, really. I mean, it's their original vision. I just was going by the seat of my pants, just trying to, you know, not disappoint people that wanted more. And obviously, there's a lot of talk back and forth about, you know, IDOS and core and that relationship. But people like us and our team, me and Mike and Rebecca and Chris and Gary, we were huge Lara fans, and so all we wanted was to do the best possible levels. And you know, we never had any political friction other than, you know, trying to get questions answered, you know, when we needed help.
I think that's why your levels actually, that's why you get all the three games you made actually so good, because core obviously had a lot of stress dealing with like IDOS, PR people, marketing people, all that stuff. You didn't have any of that. You would just sit down and do your own thing. And this is why your levels are not affected by any of that stress. And this is why your levels are probably, for me at least, Tomb Raider 3 is a good example. Like, I can't stand that game at all. I do like Nevada a bit, but that's probably my gay dreams of, you know, having a pet prisoners helping me out. But
they were very they were so hands off with us, Ash, that they were so hands off that, remember, Rebecca, we used to have to go and force our way into meetings and say, God damn it, have a look at what we're doing.
The Lost Artifact can make it a run for Tomb Raider 3 money, for me anyway, definitely. Just a quick bulletin. Guys, you can enter giveaway on my stream right now by typing !giveaway all together. You can win there's two Tomb Raider 1 copies signed by Shelley Blonde, the voice of Lara in the original games, including Unfinished Business. Those grants are hers. So go enter. However, you need to pay shipping, so please be mindful of that. Shipping is not expensive. Should be around £5 UK wide, about £8 Europe, and about I think 12 to everywhere else or something like that. You can find out prices on Royal Mail website yourself. But there's only 2 for me to give away. I did not ask Shelley to sign more, so be sure to answer that. And we are back to the stream.
There's 4 of them. That's going to be fun.
He will do it.
Don't say like I didn't warn him, right? Yeah, I like those kind of warnings.
You did
and
practice.
obviously,
you did practice, didn't you, AJ? You practiced, right?
I didn't.
Oh my!
Again,
wow.
it's one of those situations where it's designed so that you could be overwhelmed if you weren't paying attention. But if you're clever, and we always talked about the clever player, you'll go back, you'll put water between them and you, and that sort of thing. It's pretty straightforward. Level design 101, really. Man, I had a blast doing these. I mean, you know, in those days, people didn't complain about me not coming into the office because they knew I was doing this. Unlike the rest of my career, right, Rebecca? Where's Phil? What's he doing?
Yeah.
I mean, this was my first. IDOS was my first game job, and Rebecca had been working in games way before me, and so I think you too, Mike. And when we started getting royalties for this, it was like a dream world. I couldn't believe it. I thought, why did I ever become an architect when, you know? And this was the last game I ever got royalties on. Was Tomb Raider Lost Artifact, the last game. And then Rebecca and I stupidly went and tried to. Rebecca and I tried to go and renegotiate our royalties. I remember. I think it was I drove that, and what a mess! We just didn't get any at the end. We didn't realize how lucky we were, to be honest with you. And working on, you know, one of the most iconic games of all time, and getting royalties, and just a really good spirit. And like I did Lara's original voice on the website. I wrote all her dialogue for our very first IDOS website. And they gave me this beautiful Swiss Army Lara watch, which I've never seen anywhere else. My house is coming down with Lara stuff, I gotta admit, because I always preferred that to money. I love swag. There's not enough swag in the world these days. Mike, do you get a lot of man-eater swag?
Yeah, we did a lot of swag.
I always love me swag. Ash is obviously a great lover of swag.
Well, to be fair, most of my stuff has been gifted to me, so yeah, well, I did buy some of the statuettes, like little ones, because I'm kind of broke. You can see why. I'm broke because of buying this gaming computer, which you can't see in a shot. But yeah, I do like my collection. It's most
my
of the
favorite
stuff you see though is custom made.
My favorite Tomb Raider moment was that I knew Tomb Raider made it when I was watching an episode of Spaced. One of the best TV shows of all time, and in his bedroom, he had one of those. He had a Tomb Raider standee that I still have to this day somewhere. Big cardboard thing, and it was in space. Edgar Wright. I love the way that show addressed kind of pop culture. I love the way he addresses pop culture in all his shows. But anyway.
AJ, you want to skip this level and go to the next one, just so we have an opportunity to play all of them.
All right. Where's the ballroom? Does anybody remember where the alien ballroom is?
I think it's in the very last level, I believe.
All right, and the shotgun room I think is in there too. So yeah, I mean, the only thing that I liked about that level was the big dive at the end, where you can dive into the cube.
Oh, this one is this level. I was cursing so much when I was playing it on my stream.
Yeah, it's too hard. I mean, I designed it too hard, and Gavin and the rest of the core people that played it told me that too. And I had this vision for this alien tree, and so my textures and my modeling were getting more and more whack. You know, really out there, far less orthogonal. But I ended up only doing a small part of it as alien tree because it was so hard it was so illegible to get round that.
Like playing
I did like doing
the. You don't know what's happening.
I did like to do the old statue thing. Is he going to come alive? I don't know. Oh, this one here.
Yeah, that one.
Oh, I remember this.
First time, you see? You see?
Oh yeah, this
Holy
was
crap,
hard.
I was not expecting that.
I think some people hated this
I know
room,
how
but
it's called ballroom. You expect it to be, like a dancey one, people go
Yeah.
for a dance, but no,
Right.
it's
The alien
actual
ballroom.
balls.
this was probably the first semi-original thing I did on this level. I mean, they hadn't thought of this, but I think that after they got killed a few times, they actually enjoyed doing it. It's very similar to when I did. Do you remember, Rebecca, the area with all the cages and the tigers? I think where you had to open one cage and then two other ones would close and all that stuff.
Tomb Raider 2 Golden Mask.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
the nastiest puzzle I think I ever designed. But certainly this one is a fun one to do. Because it's right there, right? You can see it. I mean, that's what I love about things like that, where you can see the challenge, you know what's happening. It's just a question of how the heck do you do it? And the answer is carefully. You can just run through it like mad. I'm sure Mike learned that technique at some point. Once you figure out, you just ran through it. I did a worse version of this in Willard's Lair, where I was trying to put every trap in the book into that level. Yeah, look at
Kaisem
that.
says the way these two levels make a great use of foreshadowing. This level design was amazing. I do agree. It's even though it was very frustrating when I was playing this. But at the same time, I remember, this is how classic Tomb Raider should be. It should be frustrating. It should be like deadly because if you are being this Indiana Jones figure, you are expected to have dangers from left, right, and center.
Well, look, it goes from the designer to the public, where the designer is thinking, what move is he going to move next? What is he going to think? What's the player going to do next? What's she going to do? And then the designer responds to that. But then the player is also thinking, what would the designer, if I jump, oh my goodness, oh, you made, bad luck.
So close.
That was a bit unfair.
Oh, very nice.
We will slightly
I thought he made it.
go off topics here. Just slightly go off topic here, but I can't. My brain just can't unsee that. In the Tomb Raider Lost Artifact, there's a in one of the folders on the CD, there is a person going, "Why aren't you playing me levels?" Who is that? Is that Gary?
I don't know, Mike. Who is that?
Mike, is that you?
That was us imitating Phil.
But that's a picture of me. Ash, that's a picture of me, and you would hear nothing but that, apart from wearing me Lucky Charms.
Yeah,
we would hear people say,
We had the picture of the Lucky Charms guy, and we just would do, "Why aren't you playing me levels?"
Because that was my mantra. I'd come in every day and walk around to the testers and to the producers and say, "Why aren't you playing me levels?"
Because we all were working on 10 other games at the same time.
None of which we remember what they were now. Commander.
Sure, I could rattle off some names.
What was the one that Mike McHale worked on that was at the same time? He kept talking to graphics card people about it. 3DFX, I think. What was that called?
Was it one of the Anachronox, one of the Iron Storm games? Yeah,
might have been one of those. Yeah. Oh no, Anachronox was
Iron
John
Storm.
Merrill's crowd.
Yeah.
No, it was way before that. It was way before that. Anyway, it'll come to me. Are we still in this ballroom? Come on. How much time have we got?
AJ. Come on, AJ. You're embarrassing me.
Use the fly cheat.
Yes, press the O. Yeah, press O button. You should be able to. There you go.
Oh, no.
Oh, shit. I told you now you're going to use it all the time, aren't you?
Oh.
Well, I did anyway when I was playing this. She's immortal when you fly, just so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I just love the ceiling here. I wish my ceiling was like that, actually. Oh, these doors. Oh, for fuck's sake. Like, seriously, the worst puzzles in Tomb Raider 1 and 4, these doors. And 2 as well, actually. They use them everywhere. I just
cheat then. Yeah.
You can approach them like really like up close, and then you press the roll button so she rolls through them. But before that, in the past, when I was playing this as a child, I would just run through them and always obviously die. And then I would reload and run again until I actually make through them.
You know what, as well, I see somebody saying about Tomb Raider 5 Gold. And honestly, Rebecca and I would have just kept making these to the end of Kingdom Come because we love making them. I mean, you get to write your whole adventure. You obviously have to plagiarize the previous Tomb Raider and get the pieces you need.
Yeah.
But then because we had Gary on board, Gary was able to convert all the models. So that's why we had lots of new characters and things in Lost Artifact. But we were a tight little team. I'm sure we didn't cost them much. And, you know, they sold less and less each time. But compared to your average game, they were still selling a lot. So Rebecca and I were super pissed at that time, I seem to remember.
I think the gold packs, as I was saying, like I could not believe there's actually like so little people involved in making these. I mean, I understand that, you know, obviously the programming was already done, the engine was already done by other people, everything is pretty, but still level design is a difficult, tricky thing. But like you look at how the games are made these days, you have like a one person doing, I don't know, doorknobs on all the levels. Another person will just do only doors. Like, you know, there's so many, like literally like a city of a small town of people working on one room effectively. Whilst
on
Godfather,
I think
you basically made the entire game. It's just very impressive.
Which has got a nice indie feeling to it when you think about it now. But I could never do this now. I would never be able to pick up Unreal or Unity or something, or even this editor again, probably, and actually do this. It takes a lot of...
to use Tomb Editor, you probably would be able to use. Apparently, it's quite easy to master. Don't look at me though. I did not try, but apparently people say that's why when people released it, there's actually on Twitch where we're streaming this to, they actually added category to make the level editor because it became so popular now. So yeah, if you would like to create some levels, like I will.
Maybe I should do this in my old age. I should create more levels, and you could be my publisher.
And we will actually play your levels this time. You know, not like your QA testers. Oh, Nina, it was not me who gifted you a sub. It was Uncharted, just so you know. I can't give subs to my own channel, unfortunately, yet. There are 107 people actually watching us today. That's quite a big number. But we will have this video on demand available so people can watch later on. And we will also have a highlight video clip of 10 minutes, best moments as well, out.
Best moments, huh?
Come on, AJ. Come on.
He can do it. This is one of my... I love doing this lava part. And honestly, you know, for me, it became a point of trying to get acceptance from the lads at Core Design. I was there every day. It must have been a month anyway. And then slowly getting that, but then really challenging them and seeing if they could actually do the levels. That's very satisfying, you know, especially if you've got your ramp correct. So this one was supposed to be as hard as I could make it.
You can make new levels with Tomb Editor and make them as hard as you want. As Kaizen says, Tomb Raider fans will still find them too easy these days. That being said, I don't know what he's talking about. I played his levels. They were very difficult.
People were saying, Rebecca, that our Lost Artifact Zoo wasn't very challenging, but to me that is the epitome, the classic what me and Rebecca and Gary did, which was lots of secrets, beautiful textures, little stories going on, like the whole Joan of Arc thing. I mean, we'll talk about that if we ever get that far. When we're talking Lost Artifact.
We will absolutely. I wanted to start with Lost Artifact, but because it's really one of my like top 3 Tomb Raider games ever. But I thought, you know, we will just do it in a chronological order anyway. I can wait. I will be very patient. But yeah, the Lost Artifact is incredible. I do love in the 3 games you guys made. My favorite bits is actually the entirety of the Lost Artifact and the Egyptian levels because of the textures, Rebecca. You know, we'll get there.
I think each of those hieroglyphics is a little story as well. I'm pretty sure Rebecca is that anal that there's so much complexity in that. Because we didn't have cutscenes, we didn't have script, or we didn't have real different unique goals. So what we did have was environment, and so for me, it's like telling the story of the environmental story.
You did have some documents though in Tomb Raider 3, though, weren't you? You had like loading screens, but that's actually a good question there. What happened with cutscenes? I know you had some plans for them.
I know, and I put them. I sent them to you, Ash. That's as far as it got because they didn't. They wanted to put as little money and effort into this as possible. Plus, it's a budget. Oh. It was a budget game. It's a re-release of an existing game, regardless of how popular the original was, and and then a little bit. I mean, I love my time with Core and IDOS, but we were a little bit like in the back room, just doing our thing, which was good in one way, but we weren't a very important part of the company. Oh, they're doing some more Tomb Raider.
AJ, when you die, if you press the O to fly, she will resurrect. Just so you know, you don't need to reload.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, if we
you're doing a fine
we
job,
have sorry, Phil, I will just interrupt you real quickly here.
Yeah.
RR Dash is here, who created Tomb 1 main, which we're actually playing right now. Not the 60 frame rates patch, but the patch that kind of activates a variety of cool things here. So I'm very happy that people actually who made this playable on Windows 11 computers, actually watching you guys watching AJ play. It's very impressive what the community has done, because actually, when most of the times you download the classic Tomb Raider games on Steam, for example, they're fucking unplayable. You just have to like dance around with magical, charms and stuff like that to make it playable. Fans, though, they just created all these patches. I don't know if you heard of the Angel of Darkness, Tomb Raider: The Angel of Darkness, which was like quite messy, buggy game. Fans patched the shit out of it. It's like so amazingly done these days. If not for the community, literally, these games would be gone and forgotten by now. But they
when we produced it was Gary, me, and Mike and Rebecca that did the editor project, and we knew because they'd said for a long time that these tools are exclusive, they're never going to be used for anything else, but getting the tools into the fans' hands was, even though they were relatively complex, I mean, Gary put together that entire walkthrough and how it works. All I did, and Rebecca, all I had to do was a little bit about designing Tomb Raider, but I wish we'd kept up with it more then and helped people that were actually trying to use it to design levels. I think that would have been fun.
Yeah, there wasn't any kind of support after it came out, which was unfortunate.
Yeah.
That being said, though, fans did manage to read all the manuals and make use of it. And as I said, they created a brand new one based on the one that was released. So it took them many, many years, but the community is very strong. Like Tomb Raider Level Editor community is actually one of the strongest ones to date. There's so many of them, and there's more people joining each day. I never done a level because I'm not really that creative. I'm more of creative for like messaging people on LinkedIn and making them to appear on my stream and tell their stories. But there is a
You're a
big
facilitator, Ash. You get us all into trouble. Oh man, I remember
I uncover stuff, I release it to people, and they can then make stuff happen. Basically, that's what I do.
But
as you can see on the bottom left corner, that's what RR Dash created. So all the enemies have their health bar as well, which you can see, which is quite cool. Which is quite useful.
I remember this part. I remember doing this. It's funny because it's classic gaming, right? And ultimately, it is what it is in terms of the way it looks and the generation of game that it was. But it's like so many classic games you could still play, and even though there's a few stretched textures here and there. This looks so much. This cannot be the level I designed. It's far too pretty.
No, it is. It is. There is slight enhancement there, obviously, by RR Dash in terms of texture sharpening and stuff like that. And obviously, it runs at 60 FPS. But this is pretty much your textures and stuff. They did stabilize the engine, so there's no like jittery kind of PlayStation 1 feel to it. But overall, though, it's pretty much the same thing.
This is where the level gets out of control.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, from this point is where the level gets out of control because it's so complex and complicated looking. It's not as legible as I probably would have liked, but this is where I think you have to decide which of the three kind of corner enemies you're going to take out first, because I think this is the part, because they'll kill you really easily. And then the ballroom, the shotgun room is here somewhere too, I think. I mean, this is 25 years ago, trying to remember, this stuff.
We actually were in Derby.
I can't remember 25 minutes ago.
I know.
We actually been in Derby this weekend with a couple of people, many of whom are actually in the chat to say hello, everyone. So on Saturday, we actually been in Derby watching the panel with Heather Gibson Stevens.
Oh yeah,
very cool.
And Gavin Romery that you just mentioned, and Pete Bernard. I'm not sure if you met Pete Bernard. He was
we did.
Yeah,
we definitely worked with Pete as well.
Talking about stuff. So there's supposed to be Susie Hamilton from community management and Martin Iverson, one of the composers, but unfortunately they cancelled. So we just arrived from Derby at 2 p.m. on Sunday. I just prepared for the stream to do that. I'm so tired, you have no idea, but it was like the best Tomb Raider weekend ever for me.
Oh, that's
awesome.
brilliant.
You know what would be great? To have actually a panel with you guys at some point. I will work on that, don't worry. You leave that in my trusty hands. I've done panels before, so...
We'll have to wrangle Chris, though, because he's getting on. He's old like the rest of us now, but Chris is still a bit of a wild man, isn't he, Rebecca? He always was a wild one.
From what I hear.
No, he's got a baby and child now, but Chris is a terrific guy. I'm looking forward to... hopefully he'll get on the next next stream, because he's funny. He's a New Yorker.
Yeah. Oh, Rebecca.
But also,
I was actually reading your biography there. You worked on my favorite Sims game, actually, The Sims 3. It's such an honor, I hate the latest one they made, The Sims 4. The Sims 3 is still I still play that one.
Oh, Ash, did you play any of the downloadable worlds?
Of course I did, yes. The one, my favorite one is the one with, it's like kind of gothic with vampire-y one.
Yes, yeah. Well, I had, luckily, I ended up on the team as team lead for those downloadable worlds, and having worked with Philip, I had a lot of practice just going off in a corner working with a small team. So
I thought you were going to say shouting at people because you work with...
No, I never shouted.
Look how nice those steps are. See, there's a little bit of an architectural angle thing that I just like the look of that. Man, I haven't seen this, as I say, for so long. It's bringing a tear to my eye.
Can the chat please type some hearts for Phil so he doesn't cry? Come on, everyone, spam.
This was I had some concept here. I think that Lara is looking at the enemy gallery and she's killing them all. They're very easy to kill, but then when she gets onto the gallery, she becomes the part of the gallery, and then the enemies come and kill her. I don't know. I can't remember if that was which game that was. Because we never really mapped them out either. I mean, I did a few maps, you've seen those, Ash, at the start, but they don't really correlate exactly. And, it's very instinctive building Tomb Raider because it's like sculpting. You're not like building a level in AutoCAD or 3DS or Unreal or Unity. You're just sort of feeling your way through it and sculpting and looking. The beauty of it was you could just keep popping into the engine and see what the vista you created or the feeling of it. I mean, look, just the succession of spaces there with light and dark. We And level designers, players will just pass these things sometimes, but that's just the way we designers think, you know.
Yeah, it's quite evident. Like when I was playing it as a child, obviously I was not looking. Well, I'm saying as a child. I first played Tomb Raider when I was 12 at the in 2000. That my first game was Tomb Raider Chronicles, so I was not really a child. I was like teenager. When I actually seen it when I was like 7 or 8, someone playing it, I was like, "What the fuck is that? Why are you playing that?" I was playing Crash Bandicoot at the time or Resident Evil or something. I was not impressed. Later on, though, now look at me now with a Lara in the corner. But when I was playing it for the first time, obviously I was kind of run around just to finish the level. You don't really you look, oh yeah, it looks pretty, carry on. But now when I was actually playing it as a practice for the stream to know what kind of to ask about the questions and things like that, you get to like just stand still to appreciate it more, and it just looks so pretty. You just wouldn't like.
Ash, you know what your destiny is? You know what your Tomb Raider destiny is? I have to facilitate you to be able to play with Lara in her leopard skin jumpsuit. Rebecca and I got so much
and if
trouble
you do that, I will buy myself a leopard skin jumpsuit myself and play it wearing it. This is now on video. I guarantee I will do that. Yeah, that's a deal. Mr. Sean Dumsley says here, thank you, Phil, so much. You made us so happy for many years with your levels. So there you go.
Thank you. Yeah, what does that mean? You didn't play The Godfather then?
I did. I loved it.
The Godfather was my baby. I mean, that was like 4 years of my life. So I could definitely do a stream on The Godfather. I could talk about that one endlessly.
I actually want to do some Quantic games with you, actually. I did play Beyond Two Souls on stream at some point.
Love that game.
Oh my goodness, you got to play Omicron then. You have to play Omicron the Nomad Soul, although it's very hard to play on Steam now. But
I will find a way. I'm Russian. We always find a way. Well, I'm like Russian. I mean, I'm Greek. I don't DNA test, but you know what I mean. I'll find a way.
You know what? Because this part of the level,
to do more streams. Pardon?
Because it's so hard to get through this level. Like I think this is the Alien racetrack. And it probably had some centers on it before. I wasn't really paying attention there, but yeah, I'd completely forgotten about all of this. Who knows what that camera shot was? I was just doing them wildly at this point. Yeah, look at that. That's so terrible. That looked like I framed it wrong.
It's supposed to confuse you. That's the whole point of Tomb Raider. It's not like modern one where she's just moaning about her dad and you can see where you need to go with the glowing things.
I feel bad because obviously with this stream, I can't wait to do the other two because I think the stories are more interesting. Rebecca, they were much more personal projects to all of us. Lost Artifact and Tomb 2 Gold. So we'll definitely have better quality. They're more legible. I mean, honestly, when I was building this, I was just building wildly. I was going, what next? What next? What next? She's getting deeper and deeper into this Atlantean context, and I'd forgotten the motto "less is more." It was just more and more and more is more.
That's how I like it, as you can see. I like when it's more stuff. Oh, there you go. Spitfire clipped me saying that I will do the stream in the jumpsuit. So there you go. You have a proof. Actually, I got a question for you here. Let me just find it. Are there any lost levels or early versions of released levels still on some mysterious hard drive or floppy disk?
Well, we never made Lair of the Monkey King, which was the when I pitched Shadow of the Cat, I also pitched it against a bunch of other games, including Lara in Space, but they refused to ever let us put Lara in space. And then Lair of the Monkey King, as I said to you before, was Apocalypse Now meets Jungle Book, and I really wanted to do that one. It was a response to a website that had been out at that time called Tomb Racer, where people were trying to do the fastest times through. So I designed them a level which was like a racetrack. based on Jungle Book, and all the different animals. But no, until we got to the Vegas level, which we'll keep that story for the next podcast. But Rebecca and I, it was mostly Rebecca's fault for doing black and white, right, Rebecca? And leopard skin. Who did the leopard skin jumpsuit? Was that you?
I can't even remember, to be honest.
I think
I don't know. Were we able to do that to create her textures for her?
Yeah, she had the leopard skin jumpsuit with the extra pixel, if you remember.
I remember the jumpsuit.
It was black, white, and gold. And it looked, I liked the look of it, but Core really absolutely did not. And when they sent me home to fix it, I had a huge panic because Rebecca had gone on holiday. So I had to find all the old versions.
Yeah, and remember, wasn't the main reason they were worried about it was that they thought people would think there was something wrong with their computer, and they would get a lot of technical calls.
Wasn't she spied? I don't know whether I'm imagining now. Wasn't she spied from like Married with Children or something?
Yeah, it was Peg Bundy.
That was the insult they used. They said she looked like Peg Bundy. But the main thing was I've got to tell this story now, Ash. But the main thing was they brought it up on screen, and I think it was in Atlanta, Mike. I can't remember if it was Atlanta or LA E3, and they brought it up on screen, and Adrian Smith pointed at her and said, "And you added an extra pixel to her cleavage," and it was a complete mistake. But that was the big deal, right? And it wasn't anything to do with sexism or anything. It was like, you added an extra pixel. And the fact is, he spotted it. I don't know how he managed to spot it. But,
I don't even remember that.
But they sent me home, Mike, from E3. They sent me home. I had 2 days to fix it.
Wow.
Yeah. Hardcore. And then they gave me the statue instead of money as a reward. I always remember that.
Oh.
That one that you have, Ash, they flew that out from Germany or somewhere, and I always remember people must have thought I was a serial killer because I unwrapped it in the garden. It was in a big crate, and it was all body parts wrapped in polythene. I don't know if yours came the same way.
I need to send you a photo of Peter driving with this statue through the country. He went to like a place in London to fix his car or something, and there's a picture that Gaming Monk Confesses, who is currently in chat, took. It's basically two dudes talking while there's like female legs are pointing out from the boot. It looks like they murdered someone and they're just like discussing how they're gonna
dump her back. I know.
I'll send you photos later on LinkedIn. Sorry, I just got a question here for you. In the Atlantis area from Tomb Raider 1 Gold, is it inside the pyramid or is it the complex outside the building in Tomb Raider 1?
You know what? I can't exactly remember, but the whole idea was that he was arriving in a new series of buildings, which were all that exterior part. That's why I did that black sky at the very start of the first level and tried to create some tangible looking architecture. And the whole idea was that she's going deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper, and the architecture becomes more and more alien. So like now, if you notice, it's all that kind of flute tree kind of shapes, and there's very, very few blocks anymore, or anything that's legible. One of the tricks of level design I've always used in my life is, do you want to make the space legible and tangible to a player, right? Do you want them to be able to follow waypoints? Do they see landmarks, like in the Godfather game? Do you see where it's the way any Grand Theft Auto game is designed as well? But in this case, I wanted the player to be confused, disorientated. So I had to make sure that I didn't do, any obvious temples or obvious architectural features. Obviously, I had to use the doors and things, but it's pretty alien looking. Yeah. I don't know if that answers the question, but...
I'm going to now announce the first winner of Shelley Blonde autographed Tomb Raider 1 copy. Just polite reminder, Shelley Blonde is the voice of Lara. You have a few seconds to enter the giveaway by typing !" giveaway before the bot randomly selects you. So go on, guys. !" giveaway all together. Phil, there was someone that was actually asking, sorry, I do not remember who it was, but in the very beginning they asked, What is your accent?
Oh, I'm Northern Irish. Somebody got it right at the start.
Yes, they said Irish American. They said, yeah.
I'll give you a very good example of that. When we were doing, if you remember, Rebecca and Mike, when we were doing Lost Artifacts, you remember that I set all the levels in Northern Ireland. I said this is going to be my homecoming, Northern Ireland, and again they took me into a room and they said, no, for fuck's sake, Phil, excuse me for swearing, what are you doing?
Right.
Northern Ireland, it just isn't glamorous enough for Lara, so why don't you do Scotland? And I thought, oh, Scotland's a lot more glamorous. Well, I'm getting payback now after 20 years because look, who's the most glamorous now, huh? Game of Thrones, right?
Excuse
They
me,
didn't
to
choose
make the fun
Scotland
of a
for
set
Game
in
of Thrones.
Ireland, there is an entire section set in Ireland. Into Radical
Yeah, I mean,
Chronicles.
when you fly into Aldergrove Airport and near Belfast, there's not a sign that says "Welcome to Northern Ireland." It says "Welcome to Westeros." So we take our Game of Thrones very seriously, and we are. If that had been around back in the day, Rebecca, it could have been the Red Hand, not the green lost artifact of Rathmore, right? Anyway, Ash, we have so many stories about that one. I need to stop.
Congratulations,
Time for
Nina,
that cigarette break.
One of the.
I need a cigarette break, yeah, because I talk too much.
Sorry, guys. I'm just. Let me just give away another one. So Nina just won one of the signed copies with Shelley Blonde signed copies of Termina 1. I'm starting the
Congratulations.
second giveaway. So if you want, so Nina and everyone else, if you'd like to win the second one, I'm gonna restart the giveaway now. So please enter, as the bot tells you, ! Giveaway, and you will be in a chance to win this. We will announce the winner at the end of the stream. This is the last one to go. Right, AJ, do you want to go into Egypt now so we have time to showcase?
Please.
So the very first level.
Yes, please.
Which is my favorite. Oh, you don't like this?
We never saw the shotgun room, but I would say that is something that you could look forward to.
Okay, stop, AJ. Go. Okay, no.
Okay,
right,
never mind.
Never mind. Go on. New game.
Remember,
if you actually select the Japanese version, if you actually play Japanese version, AJ, the game is actually quite easier. So, enemies are much easier.
Really?
Just so you know. Yep.
I'm trying.
So again, you're supposed to be going into this with just your basic starting inventory. And Rebecca and I just took a couple of rooms from the original model and just messed around with them. And everything is like cats. So if you jump over to the eyes, like the cats appear. It's not the easiest jump in the world to make. Yeah, and then
Rebecca, did you do that Winky Sphinx texture?
I don't think so. I don't know.
No, I think you had to have. I think you did.
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure it's new. It's definitely not in Tomb Raider 1.
We gradually introduced the new textures. So all of this stuff is mostly from the original. And then remember we started introducing cat after cat after cat, and then so basically that second room to the right there, I think was in the original game, and then I just closed off one exit and then you went on a completely different path. Yeah, the first part
is supposed to do in Egypt? Like, what is the story? Because, what is she supposed to accomplish?
Well, obviously there was no story, and there was no cutscenes, and there was no setup, and we hadn't come up with that idea with the newspapers and stuff, which I think worked really well. And so all we could do was use environmental storytelling to tell the story of a cat treasure, really. And so it's implied that Lara is searching for the fabled cat treasure, and so the way you're supposed to storytell through the levels was cats can be good or bad. Alligators hate cats, and cats hate alligators. So alligators are always where you would expect them, and as guardians. And every time you see a cat, follow it. Right, go where the cat is generally, and that was the way we kind of navigated through it. I mean, it was very, very basic, but I got to tell you that this is where one of the things I teach nowadays is what I call hidden narratives. And, when you design as many Tomb Raider levels as I ended up doing, and extra levels and secret levels and all that stuff, you run out of inspiration very quickly. And I can't tell you how many of the levels I've designed are based they start off in my back garden, like the Bering Sea, the Russian base back garden. But this one, I took my inspiration from Alice in Wonderland. And so whatever happened in Alice in Wonderland, those are my story beats. So Alice goes down the rabbit hole. That gave me the idea to dive down and find the ancient Sphinx. And then...
You know what? It makes so much sense now, because the cat here in these levels, there's a statue of the cat that randomly appears and kind of guides you where you need to go. So just like Alice in Wonderland, follow the white rabbit. So
following the white rabbit.
It makes so much sense now.
But actually, the technique of a hidden narrative means that you never get stuck. And so I never found myself sitting at my keyboard, because remember, we were under huge pressure, Rebecca and I, because we had so little time to design these games, and there was just the two of us. But never got stuck, because I knew, I'm going to have a garden party, right? The Queen's garden party. So you'll notice that there's one room with the props that we had. There's a table and a few chairs. And then we said, well, instead of inviting all the cards and the Queen and everything to the garden party, in Egypt it would be all the Egyptian gods. So we tried to create a room for each Egyptian god. And that's why the rooms are designed the way they are. It doesn't come across because there's no story, but there's a lot of depth in the way we were thinking about how the environment worked. People hated this part, by the way, this jump back out of the water.
No, it was easy enough. I don't know why people could. No,
I think it's easy enough if you know, but it's one of those marginal bits where people can get really frustrated.
It's nowhere near as bad as Tomb Raider 2 or Tomb Raider 3 main games, so nowhere near, trust me.
But it was fun to do all the music stingers and to do all those little camera pieces. I feel like, it's doing Rebecca a disservice to say that it's just textures. To me, it's art direction and just the whole overall look and feel, the sculptural feeling of the space, the lighting. It turned out pretty good. Plus, we both love cats. I have 4 of them, so I'm a big cat fan. Do you like cats, Rebecca? I can't remember.
Yes and no. I love all your cats, Phil.
Can I go and have a very quick smoke, and Rebecca can talk about me behind my back?
Yes, sure.
Before we get to Smitty's Leap, which is Rebecca, Smitty's Leap is the bit in the canyon, I think, where you see the cat statue way up high ahead of you. It's called Smitty's Leap.
Okay.
You'll see it. You'll remember it.
Well, I'm having to admit that I never did play any of these all the way through from start to finish.
I just had to look on Wikipedia to remind myself. I had to remind myself how these all were laid out chronologically, because I forgot that there were so many of them.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I want to go for a smoke, but I'm compelled to watch. You do realize that for the playing of the next two sessions, for the next 2 games, you're going to have save games where you've unlocked all the secrets, right? You're going to have to find every single secret so we can play Vegas.
To get, yes and no. If you actually skip levels, you can actually get to it anyway.
Oh, can you?
Yeah.
Right.
You made a bug there.
Oh, I think I pioneered in one of these the endless field of spikes. I think it was in here. And while you're walking through the spikes and you're thinking, oh, I'm so clever, I'm walking, then you get attacked by some stuff. That was one of my things. There's an area here, I think, where there's just a whole ton of spikes.
Yeah, it's right up here.
And then a cat comes out at you when you're being all clever.
Isn't actually there's a good point there by Steven. Isn't chat, please correct me if I'm wrong, I think that's that very statue you actually used in this in this level, the statue of the cat appears in Tomb Raider 2 in Lara's house, I think.
I think it's is it in Commune in Tomb Raider 2? Because we couldn't
Tomb
make
Raider
any
1.
props.
Yes, correct. Yes, Tomb Raider 1. Yeah, right.
Tomb Raider 1, sorry. We couldn't make any props. The only thing we could do at this point was make new maps, build everything new, and do all the tech. That's all we could touch on this one.
But the objects were all like, AJ.
Oh,
did you just
AJ.
Die?
What happened?
You can fly.
He's all right. He's all right.
I'm going for a quick smoke, Ash. I'll be back.
Yeah. Right. Any other any questions in the chat? Please drop them in. Whilst we still have the legends with us. Oh, I just love these Egyptian levels. Seriously, that's so beautiful.
Same.
Yeah. Well, I think that goes to a lot of Phil's credit because the way he put everything together.
Well,
most of those,
your credit to you too for for making them pretty with the texture.
Well, many of the textures they'd already he was using the main textures from that had already been created even for this level. But if we added something new, then we had to create a new texture, obviously.
What program did you use back then? Was it Photoshop still? Or,
oh yes, Photoshop exclusively.
Were you also, because I know that core, most of the textures that they have were actually, they would like scan books or go outside, take photos of brickwork around their studio and stuff like that. So the textures were actually not really drawn. They were done in that way. Was it the same with you?
Well, it ends up being very much a combination of scrap, we'd call it, collecting scrap for.
I think, I'm not sure where, AJ, are you stuck or something?
Oh, no, I was showing off the sky.
I think I'm not sure if that's the one you just passed, there were hieroglyphics, but, some of the hieroglyphics in Tomb Raider 1, the Egyptian one, you can actually read, Heather, the name Heather in them, which is, Heather Gibson, one of the level designers of the first Tomb Raider. I'm not sure if it's the same ones in here. This is actually was discovered recently by Dr. John Auckland on Twitter, which it took 25 years to discover that Easter egg, but we got it.
Oh, kitty down.
Like, I never thought of this as a Alice in Wonderland, but now I can't unsee it anymore. Like, I studied media degree and we did a lot of semiotics and things like that, but this is just amazing. Thank you for the subscription, Adam. The stars, yes, see, the stars in this, in the next level as well. So pretty. I just love it.
I'm just saving us a little time here.
Yes, that's all right.
And I keep having audio problems where I can't hear what's being said, so sorry if I'm.
All right, okay. Let me sort it out. Actually, no, I'm not sure what might be causing it. But yeah, let us know if you can't hear any of us as well. We can repeat stuff.
I'm back. It's so stormy out there, I can't even get a decent smoke in.
How many cats do you have?
4. One has
Oh
just
my
jumped
God.
onto my keyboard.
I
A main
have
Colonel
one, and that's
Savannah
too
and
many.
2 Siamese. Oh, you know what? Funny enough, there's a thing coming up here where she has to mantle, I think, or maybe we passed that. And we discovered so many things when we were doing this. And, like, you could actually shape the environment to manipulate the automatic camera to actually give you an amazing view. You just had to make sure that the shape of the ceiling was low enough or in the right shape. Otherwise, you'd get those kind of broken Lara views. But it worked out perfectly on this level. Yeah, there's a tricky jump for you.
Not for him when
I,
he's flying.
I wish I could read oh, he's flying past the cat. That was the goal of that little hub. I like designing, and I think it was an accepted thing in Tomb Raider. I like designing hubs that you would, keep coming back to after having solved various areas and
And
corners.
this is what Core Design actually borrowed from you, I think. Well, they could have came up to it themselves later on, but in Tomb Raider 4, which is set entirely in Egypt, you can actually travel between the levels, so there's like lots of loading screens. Oh no.
This is one of my favorite rooms. I like this. I like working this one out. This is the one I actually did the big sketch for, because there's so much to this hub. You're just cheating through. It's a lot.
Yes, okay. AJ, please no cheats with this room. Go on. Be a big boy.
No,
save and
don't
save
worry
and play.
don't worry about getting the keys, but try running up I always like running up the three ramps. Sometimes when you drew them out and you had a real clear plan in mind, then sometimes it was easier to execute and you could do it.
It's solidly done, this puzzle, with because you just do side jumps and you can avoid them pretty easily.
Yeah. Again, it's because of the editor gives you the perfect distancing, the perfect shape, so players know that how far they can do that side jump, how far they can standing jump, how far they can mantle. All of that stuff means that it's pretty damn legible.
You can fly now. Here from Sabato, who is one of the level editors. Were you aware of any of the limits of the Tomb Raider 1 agents? So you make the room with caution, and did you encounter any limit when you started to reduce room geometry or something like that?
Oh yeah. I mean, the second Atlantean level kept blowing up on me because there was so much stuff, and I think depending on how you played it or what you played it, I think it still is broken. So sometimes you'd see a little piece of an alien torso or something that wasn't correct inside one of the eggs. But I over-egged that. I found the limits there. And so after that, I think we were a little more careful. But when we had to make the giant cat statue in this one, that was a real challenge because who knew that we could make it quite so big and and still keep a sense of gameplay, as you play around it, So Rebecca and I were always pushing it. That's why when we had the little bit outside in the desert, and eventually you'll hit the poison sand because obviously there are limits. But we really wanted to create an entire desert out there that you could just wander for days, like Lawrence of Arabia. And that's why.
Yeah, sorry, Karen.
No, I was only the final thing I was going to say is that's why when you do find some of the classic areas where you can cheat, or that thing where you could fall through the corner, a 90-degree angle, you'll find I put pickups and secrets and enemies out in those areas too, because I know players really enjoy finding them. But I've got to say, I never had any idea that people could complete the first Atlantis level in like 1 minute by jumping down the middle. That was
AJ, could you show us this big mural you just passed? Go back to it, please. Because I think that one has Lara on it, I believe. That's Rebecca done, actually. Or I could be wrong. The one on the right side. Yes. No, not that one. Then. No, there is one with Lara, and I think it's Bast she's with.
Yeah.
It's an Easter egg in here.
And also, I think Rebecca put like the cats and the hieroglyphics and things. So the whole thing is really heavily themed up. Some of those textures are from the original Commune level, of course. But it'd be very interesting level at Rebecca's final, because obviously the other thing that the guy you said was the level designer, one of the big limitations was the amount of textures you could use, I believe. That you could only have a certain profile of the number of textures. So very rarely would Rebecca and I ever use a single texture. But there are a number of occasions where you'll find that a texture was only ever used once for some special.
Like the animated cat steps.
Yeah. And there's that lovely outside. If only you could just get out there, huh?
Oh, there you go. The Sabato as a level builder, when I started to create levels for Tomb Raider 1, I was shocked by the limits. I made a few rooms with detailed geometry, and then levels started to crash. Thank you for your answer, and thank you for your points.
All right. I, you know, to be honest with you, when I started playing with the tools on Blackwater, I knew had my hands on something special. I mean, Paul Douglas, I think, was the original engineer of this, and to this day, I've never played. I mean, you know, it looks sub Minecraft in its simplicity nowadays, but in fact, I mean, just look what it creates. You know, it's unbelievable. But I never, except for Atlantis 2, I never really hit. I don't remember having trouble with it not compiling, you know, or hitting the limits. But this is where we were pushing it, Rebecca and I, because we thought, look, we're gonna have to, for nearly the first time in Tomb Raider, we're gonna have giant outside spaces.
Yeah.
And this is
that
the
night
part.
sky is just love it. Look at it. It's just so beautiful. That night sky.
And people could exploit
flickering.
this.
Yeah.
It actually looks like little actual stars.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot how we got it to do that. There was a trick.
It was a texture swap. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you used it in the next
And then we
level as
also
well, the texture swap. With the
We
cat
experimented
pyramid.
a lot with transparencies as well. It was honestly anything that we can do that gives us a little bit, like the cat paw prints. I think were important to sort of show you the range of where the cats were going, or where they were, or where they might appear. Yeah, if you got flying bug now, of course you could just fly out into the desert and see where it goes.
Actually,
you
yeah,
wanna see
let's try that. Actually, that's a good point. Let's do that. Let's see what happens. But save before you do, please. What's that on the left?
I mean, yeah, there's a cat out there, and there's some Uzis as well. But wait, because the sand.
There she just died.
But you didn't die there, so I mean, I had to eventually make it when you got to the edge, it was poison sand. I said that Lara was dying from heat exhaustion, but I thought for the people that got out here to have fun, you'd find there was a few enemies and stuff. Just keep away from the edges.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
Hard to
the,
tell
that's
when
the
you're at
mood
the edge.
right now.
I think what Ash was saying over there to the right, I think there's a panther, and I know we were having
platform over there.
To be honest with you, we had so much fun with it that we just couldn't stop. Yeah, what's that over to the left? I think there's something happens when you step on that. I can't remember though. Oh, it's a cat. Yeah. Just a cat.
Evil cat.
Step up on that. Oh,
Interesting.
yeah.
Even though you can't get out here, there's actual collision on the blocks and everything.
Yeah, there was something happened. I'm sure there's a panther appears, and there was a really easy way to get out here as well. When you come up to the final bridge and the two cat statues on the other side, you could jump to the right and find a whole secret area.
Oh, wow.
And I think I hid a lot of stuff in there. You're bound to die soon, although I didn't realize I built quite so much. Yeah. And over to the right, yeah, keep going straight there. And then wait, it might kill the left. Yeah, just over here to the right, I think you could easily jump in here. Look at the little pyramid over there. Those are the pyramids. Do you notice those before? I made a whole bunch of pyramids. Oh, land there. There's some. I think there's gameplay down here. Heaven knows why.
Oh, there's the cat.
Uh-huh.
God damn it. I will not die.
Oh, I think
Not
you can
the-
go
not
to
the
the
sand.
statue. Yeah, I can't remember where
Like
you could
she's
actually
so tired
stand.
of the walking.
Now
Yeah,
it looks like
That cat's having a great time just hanging out there.
Yeah, look at it, like grinning.
But we did that a
So
lot.
happy.
We did that a lot, Rebecca. We had statues change to cats and just stand on ledges and hang out.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't think you can stand anywhere out there. So yeah, you could. So I think that bridge had an odd triggering condition. Those cats would trigger, but I think if you head towards him, that triggers the ending. He
Yeah, the mummy
disappears and then
just falls down.
Oh,
Yeah,
yep.
it's so weird. I remember when I first seen it, I just like laughed so hard. I was like, "Oop!" Just fell down.
oh look, you. Yeah. So again, that statue is there. It's obviously a completely different model, but just the idea that you gave a sense that you gave a sense that the level was a direct continuation.
Mhm.
Stephen, I don't think people are aware of Anniversary Edition, as I said before, so I don't think we can answer that question. It's not Stephen, sorry, Lion. Stephen is asking you, Phil, do you have any tips, because he wants to recreate Tomb Raider Unfinished Business in Unreal Engine or Unity, and do you have any tips how he should approach the 3D modernized remaster of the Egypt section here in Tomb Raider 1 Gold?
I would. The one thing is that if I had the opportunity, to go back and do the Atlanta levels again, first I'd hire Rebecca to do my textures. But I would take the opportunity to really. The plan for this one, for the Shadow of the Cat, was let's start with the textures that the players are familiar with. They know the world. They've been in it in Tomb 1, and then let's slowly develop past that and create new textures. When we got to Lost Artifact, the thing that was wonderful that we discovered was we could edit all the enemies. And so that's why we had Scottish Highlanders and pterodactyls. And you're not supposed to know about the pterodactyls, right? They're a secret.
Yeah, but you get there. That's one of the secrets. Yeah.
And we really love that flexibility. So if I'd been able to look at the size of this room, for example, if you talk about the engine not being able to handle it, obviously there was a problem with draw distance. This seems to be working very well. But this is about as big as I could get a room. But if I had to address Atlantis again, I would definitely, edit the characters, edit the textures to make it even more unique. And I certainly would probably have a new plan for part 2, the alien tree and stuff. I mean, I might actually be better at doing it now. Oh, and I wouldn't put in as many annoying block puzzles as there are in this level. I can't remember what that was. I know there was an endless block secret in here where you have to move about 20 blocks. I was a bit of a sadist then. There's actually this corner is a block. Actually, you can't. Normally, the problem was you can really see the pushable blocks, but that looks pretty good there.
Yeah.
You can't hardly see them.
The cat appeared.
Yeah, there should be one in each level, and again, it's just about being thoughtful about, when to jump, when to head up there. I realize now that spending 20 minutes moving about 30 blocks was not the most fun idea in the world, but it was a secret.
Well, you say that, in Resident Evil 2, you needed to search Wesker's table 50 times to get Rebecca, not our Rebecca Shearin, but like Rebecca from Resident Evil 1, picture of her. It's one of the secrets in there. Like, who would search the table 50 times when the character says there's nothing here and you just keep doing it for 50 times? Yeah. You're not the one who does this kind of stuff.
Well, we kept wanting to try and disguise them better in some cases, and I think we had to work on the textures, not of the actual objects themselves so much as the as where they're fitting in. But that whole big outside area there, I mean, trying to get that to work so you could see the cat statue in the distance on the big tower and all that stuff was pretty hard. But a lot of it, again, the lighting in the engine was just inherently great. It made our jobs honestly so easy.
Yeah.
You know, so easy.
Do you
The
have any
temptation is
tips
to
on
over egg
the...
it.
Sorry, carry on. Sorry, carry
No,
on, please.
the temptation is just to over egg everything because you know, yeah, you can just build endlessly in this thing. And I always try to keep a sense of the architectural. That to me, that if I was doing Atlantis again, I would. I think level 1, the feel that the architecture has. You know, I would have planned that out more for the second part. I don't know why, but I mean, it got wild and alien. I suppose that was what I was going for, and I would do more rooms like the shotgun room. People will have to play that now to go and find that again. That was one of my favorite bits of design. Was designing which character actually triggered around the walls depending on where you were. You know, it was like a chess game.
There's a question from Steven regarding how do you think you should approach recreating the geometry in modern day, like recreating Tomb Raider 1 gold geometry? Do you have any maybe tips for that?
Not really, but what tools is he using? I mean, is it he's using a tool
be Unreal.
In Unreal.
They seem to be Unreal, so they probably be using Blender for that, or Maya or 3ds Max.
It might. The problem might be. I mean, it could look spectacular, but the problem might be that it doesn't look like. You know, I don't know if you want it to look like vintage classic Tomb Raider, stretch textures and all, but I would. You know what you really need is you need to map it out. Like I wish I'd mapped all of these out properly, so I exactly knew what size were. Because if you need to work off a paper map, in my opinion, you can't just recreate it by right. But the good thing about most of these Lara areas is you can kind of figure out the dimensions. Most of them you can kind of see the grid on it. But also a lot of it, really, I mean, like this space, you don't design this space. You maybe design the nature of where the enemies are, where the key is, where the door has to open. But this kind of space emerges, right? You start building around I started with the pyramid, and so I started building around that. Then I wanted a tower, and then actually these rocks were kind of weird up here. Because it involved another of those funny edge jumps, you know, where you jump over the kind of sharp edge of something. It's not quite right. There's one of those in Tomb Raider 2 Gold as well. Yeah, because it looks like you get stuck here somewhere, but yeah.
Aha, AJ, typical.
AJ, you're doing a fabulous job. I mean, this is a lot to ask. 4 speedruns of 4 levels in, you know, in this amount of time. It's pretty damn good.
You know, people actually do speedruns of these. There's people who use glitches. People use various like that kind of stuff. People use glitches runs to. I'm not sure if I have actually seen Tomb Raider 1 Gold being speedrun. I know that the main ones have been speedrun quite multiple times.
Oh, actually, there is one on YouTube. Ash, he did it in like 25 minutes.
Is that fruity one we're talking about?
Can you cheat when you're cheating? Yeah.
Sorry, Phil?
When you're cheating, can you cheat through a key? I'm just wondering if you know.
No, you can't go through anything that has collision.
All right.
Yeah, Colton UK speedruns Tomb Raider 1 Gold. Okay, that's the one I need to send you video. So he apparently does.
You know what I like about you know what I like about this run, the way we're playing it right now, which, I mean, there's a mixture of a little bit cheaty, but there's also a lot of good, solid game playing going on here, is that
Yep.
all the guys that are real experts and play it and show you the hints videos online, they all always skip off the camera. You know, the big shots, like where you get that, like, the music, and then there's a big camera shot. They always flick through them really quickly, so you don't see the levels at their best. Whereas there was a couple here where, you know, you get a great shot of that cat statue, and
Oh, look how pretty this is.
Right?
no, and it's very basic, simple. Do you remember Rebecca trying to figure out all those rocks around the outside and how the color palette's just beautiful? But I would always come in of a day and say, Rebecca, make some more rock textures.
They were my nemesis, I think. Rock textures.
Oh, Dean Kopri is here. Dean Kopri is like very talented composer from Croatia. He creates various tribute music for Tomb Raider games. It's his birthday actually today, so happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
Yeah.
I need to send you guys some of his music. You will really appreciate it. It's amazing.
Did we lose Mike? This is the point in the level that he normally falls asleep in, so you know.
I'm just watching and reminiscing.
And then
Right.
he'd have the younger guys test it when he ran out of energy. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, I was the best player in the office. I remember I set
So they
a
were
record on
playing
the
your levels then.
mansion.
Oh, you set a mansion record. That's pretty good. I always wanted to do something with the mansion. If you look at my notes, Ash, the ones that the original choice for me was going to be something with the mansion or something with the Atlantis, and I never got to do the mansion. But I always knew that it was shipped with gold, so I really wanted to do a take on it, because obviously, like when we were doing Vegas, one of the most annoying things is you couldn't do like realistic sized furniture. You know, Lara's bed in Vegas is suitably giant, but you couldn't do a proper chair, or that's part of the charm of it, I think.
There's actually a question I wanted to ask you about the Tomb Raider 2 Vegas, but knowing my brain, I probably will forget, so I will ask you now. There is IGN van in it. CNET,
God,
sorry.
yeah.
CNET van.
CNET van. I know that was our pathetic offering to them for some reason. They were giving us an exclusive or something, and so we said we would put. So Rebecca's to blame for doing that CNET text, no doubt.
What?
You'll see when we get to it.
I was like playing it. I was like, oh my god, that's a website, CNET. That's what I used to read. Like text.
That was probably that was a deal that marketing made that they told Phil about after they made it.
Yeah. But also, Rebecca's probably responsible for the Tomb Raider 2 gold box in Lost Artifact, which was lovely. We broke the fourth wall there. Do you remember that, Rebecca? On the desks, we put the coffin box. You don't remember?
I'm forgetting so much.
Yeah.
But that's because I'm older than you, Phil.
That's right. And not many people in the industry are. That's quite right. Well, Ash, you're getting more than you bargained for. You didn't realize I would talk so much, did you? This is going to be like a 4-hour.
This is great. It's great that you do, because it's so nice to hear all the stories, because a lot of the times people forget like what they did. So you have to like ask them questions, and then later on they send me email saying, oh, actually I forgot to say this and that. So this is great that you talk so much. It's amazing. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Oh,
we should tell
do video, Rebecca, shouldn't we? We should do video sometime.
Should do what?
Video, because then we can do show and tell. I have all my, because Ash has been so persistent, I had to haul out a whole bunch of my Tomb Raider stuff. I found my first notebook and all that sort of thing.
Oh,
but
wow.
I actually still have a copy of the very first Tomb Raider pitch. I'm sure you have one too, Mike. The very first document the Core did, because that's what we did for Blackwater, to tell us what she actually did.
Is that the one you sent me?
Of the design doc, yeah.
That it's like a little hardback book, Ash, with I remember them showing us the first sketches of Lara Cruz as well. You know, the way she used to be, and but as I say, the only time I ever met Toby Gard was he was walking past me to go out the door with Jeremy running after him, swearing.
Do you that sketchbook we're talking about, the proposed one, is that the one you sent to me, or is that something different?
No, that's mine. But there was an original pitch book for Tomb
do you have
Raider.
that?
I have that somewhere. Mike probably has it. I think I got mine because I was looking at it for Blackwater. But yeah, I have it somewhere.
If you do, could you scan it for me if you're able to, please?
It's probably like 100 pages. I'll have a look and see if I can find it.
Thank you.
And we'll go from there. You'll be
Yes.
too busy picking out your leopard skin outfit. You won't have time for scans.
That's all right. I know a few cosplayers who will be able to get me there. They actually, one of them promised to dress me as Lara for one of my streams. So let's go. I'm not into drag, but you know what? I will do it.
I don't know if you've ever met. She's a great friend of Gary's now. But do you remember Mike and Rebecca? Do you remember Chantal?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. In fact, I was just looking at pictures of her when I met her at Schiphol Airport one time. She was such a fan.
Oh, she dressed up as Lara all the time. She was a very
Is that
big
the
part
one
of
the picture
community.
Gary has with?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she came to the
that's,
office.
No, the one.
That's right, she did. For her 16th birthday, her parents gave her a trip to the U.S. and she got to stay
That's right.
with me because I had met her dad before
Oh.
when I stopped through Amsterdam on my way to Germany one time. So
And haven't you met everyone's dad before? Let's metaphorically.
Oh
you
my
are so
God.
bad.
Rebecca, I missed you. Ash, thank you for bringing us back together again. Rebecca has been ignoring me for many, many years, and you're
No.
like a
I wonder
god
why.
person. Rebecca, aren't you a god person to some of my children and things like that?
Well, no,
Or
but I
were you
was
left off-
here.
Were you left off the list?
Yeah, but that's okay.
Look at
Because
your
I
running
got to
cat,
have.
The running cats are cool.
aren't they?
This area, this room is like amazing.
fun.
I was about to say about the running cats before we
Core
got
couldn't do
there.
that, huh, Rebecca? You showed him a thing
No,
or
I
two.
think we were the first to introduce those crazy
You
animated
did,
textures.
yeah. You used the texture swap very creatively. I mean, they've done it, and they've done it over and over again with like water and stuff. So they kind of probably, you know, when you do the same thing over and over again, you kind of forget what else you can do with it. And you used it very creatively here, so it's amazing. Retro Gamer, Retroider John says, "Is that Chantal Slagmolen?
Yes.
Is that the
Yes.
one?"
Yeah.
Gary dedicated a TRLE level to her as well, apparently.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, she was
Well,
a
when
great.
she came to visit, all the guys were kind of secretly following her around. She was very striking, very tall, and
Yeah. Probably had to beat Chris off with a stick.
She only was 16, though.
right.
Maybe.
I mean, on a more serious note, you know, I guess when we get more relaxed and we're talking about the next two streams and we're talking about our work and stuff, you know, I don't, even though I talk massive amount and I apologize, but honestly, we owe everything to Core. I mean, you know, we took the game and ran with it, and we can talk about it like we love it, and that these are our creations, right? But don't forget, of course, we never did forget that Core created everything. You know, Paul Douglas, Toby Gard, Gavin, you know, Neil and Heather. Honestly, you know, we obviously weren't doing any of this without them. It made it really easy for us in the end to get in there and use
the thing is, we're not forgetting Core at all. Basically, what has happened in 2016, which was the year Tomb Raider turned 20 years, I had this crazy idea of actually getting Core Design together for the first time since they were sold, which was 2008, I think. So anyway, I contacted local expo called Play Expo here in Manchester in UK, and they were like, "Oh yeah, let's organize that." So I got Gavin Romery, I got Heather Gibson. Toby Gard did email us, but then later on just was not interested to go. Like he was the one who was like, "Oh, I heard you doing it. I would like to go," and then he just ignored us later on. But whatever. We had Andy Sandham as well. We had loads of people from the original team, and Neil Boyd flown from Thailand as well. This is his first and unfortunately last time he met all his colleagues again, and and the fans for the first. People, they were like, "We never met fans. We did not know." I know Rich Morton was talking secretly. It's like, "Oh, how many people will actually be attending? Like 20 or something." Like, are you joking? I have like fans flying from Italy, Russia, Canada, all over the shop, to see you. No, I got you a main stage in prime time at the show. Because I actually was in a fight with Play because they were skeptical. They're like, "Oh, they got the stage on Sunday at 4 p.m. I'm like, "No, it's gonna be prime time Saturday. Just trust me on that, and it's gonna be main stage." Like, "No, we can't do it." I'm like, "Well, then the deal is off." Like, "Okay, fine." And when they seen the amount of people, there were no sitting. Basically, everyone was like standing around the stage. There's so many. It was such a huge thing for fans to meet their heroes for the first time. I actually messaged. We actually had Lara's official model. The lookalike model. They call the actual woman they paid money to dress as Lara. We actually had her dressed the exact same because she still has it. She looks like fantastic. Like literally, it was such a blast. And this is not now core are way more like appreciated by things. Like, as I said, we just came back from Derby event where they were been. So we remember core, but what we don't remember is you guys who are pretty much unsung heroes who created 3 incredible add-ons that many people actually didn't play because
a lot of people never got to play them. I know.
Yeah, because they play PlayStation most of the times, and there's only a few people who played on PC like myself. You guys actually unsung heroes.
Oh, there was a death. Now that you mentioned Richard Morton, I always remember. There was a kind of rivalry with Richard because at the time, each of those Tomb Raider teams had like maybe 3 or 4 people designing the levels. So Richard and I were always rivals because I felt like I designed more Tomb Raider levels than anyone almost, even though I wasn't part of the original team, obviously. But in my opinion, Richard Morton's levels were the best levels. There was something about what Richard did. Do you remember, Mike, South Pacific, and there was he just did a bunch of really good levels.
South Pacific, which game was that? Was that 3?
Third one.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but Richard was good. I would look at all of Richard's work first because I just remember thinking I have to be as good as that guy. But don't forget again, they were generating everything from scratch. But aren't these beautiful textures?
Very beautiful. Are these yours, Rebecca, where Crocodile is massaging the cat?
Yeah. I'm telling you, it's getting harder and harder.
Happening on it. Crocodile massaging the cat, cute. Rich Morton, actually, if you remember, we were just discussing the anniversary edition. It's Rich Morton's baby. He was the one who was designing it. Pretty much, he was like lead designer for it, and unfortunately, it just never happened.
Yeah. Oh, classic. Well, he's who I think of. Although he wasn't on the original team, he designed some classic stuff, so very inspirational to us.
The levels that Rich did were like obviously from Tomb Raider 3 onwards he was working, but my personal favorite Tomb Raider games is the first one, the 4th one, 5th one, and the Angel of Darkness. I know 5th one is like fan most hated one, but I just absolutely love it. It was my first one I played, the Chronicles. But obviously, it's from the main series. From the add-ons, I do like all 3 But hands down. Frankly, I actually will talk a lot about who came up with those Russian signs when we will play Tomb Raider 2 Gold, because, I have some questions. That's my first language, Russian.
Then you'll be blaming Rebecca again for her Russian, right, Rebecca?
There's some very interesting Google Translates. Well, although it's obviously before Google.
I thought we got it right.
No,
Yeah,
not everywhere. Some places you have actually very spot on. Some of them. It's, to be honest, it's not as bad as some games do. Like say Tomb Raider Legend, for example, which has a segment in Kazakhstan where they hired actual Russian actors to read the lines, but the text on the walls is so badly translated by Google that it's just like, why couldn't you just ask the guys who voiced, could you just proofread this for me, Why didn't you do that? But yeah, it's not as bad, but I have some questions when we get there next time.
That's Lara. Is that Lara there, Rebecca? I can't remember the texture, but it looked like her at the tea
I
party.
believe.
I'm sure there is a Lara somewhere.
Please.
Yeah.
We couldn't get enough of those cats.
I when I first activated the cats when I was a child, I was like, oh my god, this is so cool. Like literally, because I'd never seen that in Tomb Raider game before. Let's see. There's Lara with a cat, is it? Like in a white dress.
I think that's the tea party.
Oh yeah.
Actually, just if you just start walking down the corridor on the left there a little bit, it'll come into. You'll be able to see it really closely. But yeah, these were the. I can't remember the inspiration for all of these rooms, but I do have like one
tea
of the
party.
rooms,
Yeah,
one of
totally tea party.
Look
at that.
One of the rooms.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah. So this was the tea party room. If you look at there was a table. Those are the only props we had. Was a table and a couple of chairs. But another of these rooms I called the cat litter box, but I can't remember what that inspired. But this was the tea party, the Queen's tea party. And so there's one room with all skulls, and that's where we used unique textures, Rebecca, if you remember, because it was an almost certain death when you went into the room, which I don't do very often. And then, do you remember there's a bit where Core said, what's happening with the lighting and those textures? And it was because we blew everything out, so we had that amazing bright, one of the rooms has got this really bright light, and all the textures are blown out.
Trying to remember.
I think it's in one of the Egyptian levels, actually. The one
it's in here. It's just off that central.
Oh, there we go. Lara with the goddess. Hold on, AJ. Go back a bit.
Yeah, go back. Go back.
Yeah, we have a slight delay on the stream. That's why it's taking here a few seconds. There's Lara. There you go.
There she is.
Just missed. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Do you remember doing that, Rebecca?
Yeah, that was hard to get it, to look like her and look like a hieroglyphic.
Speaking of, Rebecca has sent me a few texture files, everyone. I will be publishing them on my website after the stream. You'll get to see them very soon, so stay tuned for that. By the way, thank you, Phil, for sending so many files. We just love them all, like literally. We had
I realized
files.
I realized that a lot of the sketches are really crappy, but I realized that there's only ever like the 2 or 3 images you ever see. One of the ball ramp, and then one of the sort of process to the temple, the dice shape. But so I just thought I'd give you every page pretty much from start to finish, so you can actually see where the ideas came from and what they developed into. I'd forgotten I had all that stuff. But I hoard everything. I have everything I ever worked on somewhere. My pride of my collection, of course, is all my Bowie signed stuff from Omicron. Did you ever get some Bowie? I must have given you something, Rebecca.
Oh yeah, I've got a signed CD or 2.
I never got any Bowie stuff.
What?
Neither did
That's
I,
what you
Phil,
hated.
just so you know.
You hated. That was Tom Marks. You hated Omicron.
I did not hate Omicron.
You were too busy whooping it up with the core Tomb Raider boys.
No, I remember we took Foggy out in Atlanta at E3.
Oh, that created David Cage, right? I mean, I tell everybody
Yeah.
that he was just a wee boy before I met him, and then we gave him his nickname forever and made him into
Is
the
David
author
Cage
that
the
he
one
is
from
today.
Quantic Dream we're talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Someone-
my
With
boss.
foot fetish.
Someone
Wow.
called Matt Miller called him French Omicron guy, so he became Foggy.
Yeah, not Foggy. French Omicron guy. We tried to get him into so much trouble at E3. That was what you did at E3, is get into trouble. And but I became the chief creative officer, his partner, but he's the boss. You know, he's one of the hardest men to work with. Only I could work with him. And only he could work with me, I suppose, right, Mike? We're a match made in heaven.
Well, whatever happened to him?
He's
still there.
going strong. They just did Detroit, which is a really good game.
Oh, I
That's
loved
the
it.
first-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loved
That's
it.
the first game I didn't work on. Is Detroit.
Oh, it made me cry so badly. It's like I'm not a very emotional person, but seriously, that one just. Oh. Terrible
Well, it
game,
had
made me
Mr.
cry.
Krabs in it, so it can't be bad, can it?
Well, you say that, but no, I mean it's just very emotional. To be honest, all Quantic Dreams games are quite like deep on narrative. Like Beyond Two Souls, for example, was quite emotional as well.
That's
Yeah.
fun.
That being like people complain about Fahrenheit, like I absolutely loved it when I was playing it as a child.
Well, I did a lot on Fahrenheit. That's when I was still the chief creative officer. And then they changed it to a stupid name over here, Indigo Prophecy. But that first diner was some of the best design work I think I've ever done. But it got crazy, Fahrenheit, and I always say that was after I left, but because it took us 4 years to get it published. Nobody wanted it until Atari took it, and then it made Quantic Dream basically. For all faults. I also made the worst design decision in my life in Fahrenheit, where I decided that it would be cool if there was a point where you didn't react, you didn't interact, and then just let events happen around you. And of course, everybody hated that because it's really hard not to react in a video game. You always have to do something. So it's the kind of.
Do you want to skip this level? You seem to be struggling.
Hey, I have no idea what the hell I'm supposed to be doing now.
I have no idea where you are. In fact, yeah, you're just. But this is the final level, isn't it? I mean,
Yeah.
I wish you could fly up to the giant cat
Oh, it is
room,
the final one, yeah. Oh yeah, let's do that. Let's. Did you? I think what you need to do, you need to insert all the keys into those walls.
Oh, I did that already.
You did that, and the door should be open then for you, I believe.
Yeah, I'll show you. Like, you insert that.
There's
and then
5
come
doors.
through.
There's 5 keys, isn't there? And it
Yep.
does it? Yeah.
I'm not sure what. I don't know if it glitched or what, but once you open that door, it brings you out right here.
Defrago, what's the door opening cheat? Because we apparently have that. Defrago will type us out now in the chat. I'm so bummed. If you press X, it should open the door for you on the keyboard.
Okay.
Like, face
X.
it, obviously. Yeah.
1 second. Gotta fly over to it.
Use
You're gonna hit-
action next to.
You're
Use
going to hit this
action
level
when-
forever now.
Use action when flying next to the door.
Action when flying. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, that don't work.
Oh, that didn't work. Okay. Okay.
Trapped forever in the tomb to die a death in the shadow of the cat. We've done it again, Rebecca and Mike.
Yeah, because you come back out here.
I missed
Then it
part
just
of the
drops you right back
conversation.
in.
I keep getting booted out.
Sorry, it was space, not action. So it's holster guns button, whatever it is on your controller.
Oh, there you go.
It's,
Who knows? Well, yeah.
Okay, well, flying. Yeah, no, it don't work.
oh. No, it seems like... Is there any other suggestions in there? While flying? Yes, he did. He did while flying.
Which button did they say?
They said the holster button.
Holster
No,
button. Control, shift. No, shift don't work.
Oh,
No.
We lost you. We lost the
you
stream.
blew it up.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's not
well.
working, Ash.
It's all right. It's fine. We just lost your screen anyway. So
Did you?
is there any final questions for the guys before we part our ways?
Oh, crap.
Nina says, "Love the moving cat texture in here." Yeah, I love it too.
We saw
AJ,
all
we
the
lost
good
your
things.
streams, so I'm gonna just switch to another screen now. So it's okay.
Okay, it should be back.
Oh, there you go. You're back now. Door opening cheat enables distinctively. I think we don't have that enabled, so it's fine. It's fine. It's all right. We've seen pretty
We're at
much
the end
most
anyway.
of the levels. Yeah, we're at the very end anyway. So yeah, thank you, Phil, Rebecca, and Mike for being with us today. Big honor, and I really hope to see you all plus your other colleagues on Tomb Raider 2 and 3 streams as well.
Yeah.
So
Love to.
yeah,
There.
everyone do give a follow for AJ as well, please, who was playing the game today, because otherwise
Great
I
job.
will not be able to host
Yeah.
and play at the same time. It's
Very good
difficult.
job. Very good job on playing it. I mean, it's like it brings back so much nostalgia and memories, and also getting to talk to Rebecca and Mike again has been absolutely wonderful for me.
Likewise.
Think about what it'll be like when we get Renkovitz in the room as well. My God.
Oh goodness. Weren't those Tabasco shots that we did at our wake?
What at what wake?
The wake for Blackwater, remember?
Oh yeah. Tabasco
Yeah.
shots. I don't advise it.
Yeah. I was gonna say, for old time's sake, perhaps we should do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a wake for Blackwater because we still fondly remember it because it was looking really good. I mean, it had a good
I mean,
team.
maybe you could make it, with Tomb Editor. No one's gonna stop,
Yeah.
Just saying.
Rebecca, you're probably you could. What do you think, Rebecca?
Wow.
Phil, you're famous. You could get the funding for it.
Yes.
There you go.
I'm mildly famous. I'm certainly not famous. I always like to consider myself mildly famous.
You could get the funding for it and have a team just build it, and you could just direct it.
Wouldn't that be great? And then, but we'd have to get
Kickstarter.
Mel
Do it on
back.
Kickstarter. Do it on Kickstarter.
We'd have to get Mel. Yeah.
Final moments to enter the giveaway, everyone. The last CD, Tomb Raider 1, signed by Shelley Blonde. Please enter by typing !my giveaway. I will press the button in a very few minutes, and the bot will select the random winner. So yeah, this is the end of our Tomb Raider 1 Unfinished Business stream, but stay tuned. There's gonna be Tomb Raider 2 Golden Mask with the same guys plus more, and Tomb Raider 3 The Lost Artifact as well at some point. Announcement will be made on my social media, which is just floating above my head right now, so make sure to follow me there. Any last words from you three? Like, what was the feeling to see your work being played and appreciated? My chat is mad today, seriously. It's never been so active for a while. How does that feel to know all that, and that that people actually patch the game to work in 60 frames per second, and 4K and all that stuff? What
Mike gets that for all his games now, right, Mike?
What's that?
Those are the days, I tell you. For me personally, just that it's nostalgic, but also it reminds me why I do this or why I did this. it reminds me why I teach this now, and what was so cool about the tools. I mean, you have to be able to do some stuff in this industry to get by, but you also have to be lucky. And man, we were lucky to have the freedom and the time and the space to do these. It makes me regret Tomb Raider 4 Gold even more, because that was the story we were really excited about.
And we too. We want it.
So. But actually, I ended up I used all of those ideas in Everything or Nothing and Agent Under Fire for EA when I went to EA to do the Bond franchise. So Dr. Yayakov from Tomb Raider Gold became... Dr. Yaya became Yayakov, I think the Willem Dafoe character. I can't remember in Everything or Nothing. I translated all that stuff. You never waste a good idea, do you know what I mean? But... yeah, we had fun putting that together. And actually, Gary knew what he was doing, right, Rebecca? So we always felt like, we'd say to Gary, make us a Scottish warrior. Make us a pterodactyl. Make us a, whatever.
Make us a Russian thug.
It's been a pleasure. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, and thanks for putting it together, Ash. It was a pleasure being here.
No, thank you guys for donating your time for us. We're very honored and very humbled to have you here tonight. Right, anyway,
so
we'll end the giveaway now. Now. Let's see who's gonna win. Stephen Clan, you won a copy of Tomb Raider 1 signed by Shady Blonde. So let's talk after the stream. Nina as well. Please send me a DM. We're gonna arrange.
Well done, Stephen and Nina.
Yeah, so you guys will need to pay for shipping. I know, Nina, it will be around £5 maybe for you. Steven, I have no idea. You live in South Africa. Postage is way there.
I want to... next time I want to get on my computer, because I'm sorry that I haven't been able to follow the questions in text or in the chat, or I might have been more responsive.
It's all right. It's fine. People... had a lot of insights today. As I said, we never got to talk to the Gold team before. We heard from core design. I had the streams. I streamed Tomb Raider 3, Tomb Raider 4, Tomb Raider Chronicles, and the Angel of Darkness with core design people like this and last year. So, but the gold expansion packs is something I never done, and I was literally I can't remember the game I was playing, and actually Nina was like telling me in the chat, "Oh, that would be cool to like actually see what the people think about these ones." So I was like, "You know what? Just give me 5 minutes." And I was like, going on LinkedIn. I need to find Phil Campbell. I'm gonna message him. So that's how it all happened. It literally like a month ago. So Nina, you and it's internal joke. People might not understand it. Nina, you and your tits are very inspiring. So there you go. Anyway.
Well, you have to talk to the B team, so...
To the what team?
Yeah. The B team.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was A team and B team, yes.
Yeah.
So, thank you all, everyone, for being with us tonight. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And I will see you all very soon. And please look forward to Tomb Raider 2 Golden Mask stream with the same gang. Plus, we're going to have, hopefully, Chris, who was... what did Chris do? Was he also level designer?
Not a lot. No, I didn't say that. Chris was, I don't know. What was Chris, Rebecca?
I don't know.
I don't remember being in the office.
When he was there and not chatting someone up, he was really good at modeling and concepts. Him
and I helped him a bit, but he did, of all the levels, the one that he did was the one with the big columns at the start, and the one that became the underground village, which is beautiful looking level. And I just basically did most of the gameplay in there. But Chris has become a lifelong friend, though, so we're allowed to make fun of him when he comes to that. Yeah, it means you'll get off lightly, Rebecca.
Yeah, well, I did get off pretty lightly today, so thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna read Colton. Oh, don't thank me. It's all thanks to you guys. This has happened. I'm just a messenger. It's all right. I'm gonna rate Colton UK, who is currently playing Tomb Raider Chronicles, which was my first Tomb Raider game, one of my favorite ones. So those of you who want to watch that, please stay with us. Colton is awesome, so please give him a follow. And on that end, we'll all say goodnight to you all. So bye.
Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Yeah. Oh, AJ, thanks for playing. My God, I forgot to tell
No
you
problem.
that. Sorry. Bye to you, AJ, as well. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.